Good morning. Welcome to the Verney Review. This is Sean Collins, and we will discuss some of the major events that occurred during the 1920s. A lot of significant things happened this year, starting with the 19th Amendment. It was passed by Congress June 4, 1919, and became official August 18, 1920. The amendment granted women the right to vote. The dedication to peaceful protest helped get the amendment passed. On to the next, we will discuss college football. After the war, college football became very popular to many young men and women in universities. With the college teams, football made a lot of profit, ending up with 21 mil every year. Red Grange, an elite player for the University of Illinois, and was known as a galloping ghost because of his inability of being tackled. His strength, size, and passion won him the honor of the great college football player of all time in 80 years after he graduated. January 17th, the 19th Amendment was set in place, which outlawed the production and consumption of alcohol. This was ratified because alcohol became an addictive drink, leading to a lot of violence. It started with the group of women called Women's Christian Temperance Union. This group encouraged women to speak up for violent crimes and beatings they got due to alcohol. Next, we talk about Palmer raids. The U.S. Department of Justice has been conducting Palmer raids in an attempt to arrest foreign anarchists, communists, and radical leftists, people with left-wing political views. In the aftermath, many have been deported. The raids, which are followed by World War I, are being led by the Attorney General A. Mitchell Palmer. On January 2nd, thousands of individuals were arrested in more than 30 cities, many of whom were guilty of nothing more than having a foreign accent. Now I'll pass it on to Jada Arletta, our reporter.
Hey everyone, it's Jada here with Frances Willard, the leader of the Women's Christian Temperance Union, and I'm just going to ask a few questions. Okay, so what would you say is your definition of the 18th Amendment?
18th Amendment. The 18th Amendment, in my words, definitely it banned the sale and transportation of alcohol. It saved a lot of lives. That's what that did. It saved people from abuse and violence from this just deadly substance, this deadly drink people had. It saved lives.
Next question, who was Al Capone?
Al Capone, yeah. I would say he's probably the leader in being one of the biggest alcohol smugglers in that time. He was definitely a threat to the 18th Amendment, and he needed to be stopped. That's what needs to be said about Al Capone.
Last question to wrap it up. How do you think the 21st Amendment affected supporters of the 18th?
Yeah, definitely supporters of the 21st Amendment. They definitely became worried after that amendment passed, because the 21st Amendment did make sure that alcohol was brought back, like the sale and transportation of alcohol, that was brought back. So yeah, as a supporter, I was very aware that abuse and domestic violence was all going to start occurring again, and it was not a good day.
Thanks for all your time, Francis. Now we're going to hand it over to Miss Arletta. In 1919, workers represented by the American Federation of Labor went on strike against the United States Steel Corporation. Workers in the steel industry faced difficult working conditions, long hours, and low wages. Workers organized unions to trade these issues, but those unions were really successful in improving workers' conditions. The strike involved more than 350,000 workers. Thankfully, the demands by the workers were met, and the strike ended in 1920. And if I were a worker, I would without hesitation join the others in the strike, because I feel it is wrong to have to work in those conditions and get unfair pay. Also, the secret society known as the Ku Klux Klan is making a prominent rise. They're moving into many states to dominate local and state politics. There are roughly as many as 8 million Klansmen. The KKK is a viciously racist organization that employs violence and acts of terror in order to assert white supremacy and to maintain a strict racial hierarchy. Most of their wrongdoings were aimed at the African Americans, but their savagery extended to immigrants, Catholics, Jews, liberals, and progressives. The KKK lynchings are getting more frequent and out of control. I feel that the Klan should no longer exist. The things that they do to African Americans and the rest, it's just horrific. The sad part is that a black person's voice doesn't mean anything unless they're protesting, which leads to arrests. There are too many white people that won't speak up against the Klan's actions, and too many blacks who are afraid to speak up. And that's all we have for you today on the Verney Review. See you next time. Have a great day.